Okay, so today I am going to be installing clicker weights on my 2024 900 Ace NA. The reason why I'm doing it is because I've seen on a lot of forums that these things wake up right around 7,800 to 8,000 RPMs. Well, why not have the clickers on it and I can just adjust it and try to get the 7,800. Also, the benefit would be like if I ride in South Dakota where there's a little bit of elevation, or maybe if I take it out west and ride on some trails. I know I'm going to have to do more work than just adjusting clutch weight or the clickers, and plus it's a fun little project. Okay, so the way to get these apart is you can either flip this upside down and drop it on the concrete to separate it, but I've seen this on another YouTube video and I prefer this method. I don't like dropping my clutches, from this height onto the concrete. So here we go.
What
Nolan's BFH.
Nolan's BFH
Yeah.
comes out.
Yeah, I'm not asking, I'm telling Hannah.
Yep. There we go. So the next step is to remove the T40 bolts. I had to look at the side. Couldn't remember what I had on. Funny. All right. Oops, I got one left. So I'm not sure you have to mark this part, but what I did is I just took a punch and just put 2 dots here, so it kind of lines up with the alignment marks on the clutch here. I'm a crazy person. Okay, so the next step is you have to compress the spring and get this clip out. So this is like a homemade tool I made. There's lots of forums or videos on what other people have used to make this, but anyways, I have to compress the spring and expose this clip and pop that out so I can get the spring out. Okay, here we go. And now should come apart. So the next step is to remove this. Make sure your number 1 mark is lined up with there, or at least remember, so when you put it back together, don't forget how it came apart. The next step is remove this T25. And then, if you get the T25 out, I bought this tool. There's homemade versions of this too, to push this out. So now you just hammer it out. And you'll be doing the same thing for the other 2. Okay, so after you get this pin removed, I kind of had to clean out in here. Took some brake clean and a brush and got it cleaned out. So now you have to put the quick clickers together. What I did is I went to Goodwin Performance and bought the quick clicker, which is these parts right here. I think are right around $70. And then the ramps I had to buy, and them were about 95 bucks. And then the bolts, you have to buy the bolts too. Now, I went with 43.48 gram weights to start with. I have no idea, what I'm actually going to need. But also I went with the 30 millimeter bolt, which is the lightest, because I think with this weight, I'm going to be slightly overweight, because I only have about 95 horsepower. For instance, a 600R skidoo is about 125 horse, and they're running 40 a little bit over 44 or 44 weight, gram weights. So I think that with the shorter bolt and the 43.48, I might be pretty close. Again, the 600R is also running, instead of the 30 millimeter bolt, they are running the 38 millimeter, which weighs more. There's also a 35, but anyways, the 30 millimeter is the lightest bolt, if I'm not mistaken, that you can use. Anyways, to put it together, I'm going to start off at clicker number 3. That's your middle setting, because here's your numbers, and here's your you line up what number you want to be on with this notch in here. So for instance, this would be 1, 2, 3. Each notch is approximately each number is approximately 200 RPMs. So I'm going to start off at 3 just because have to have a starting point. Put the weight on. Put this on, and you grab your bolt. Make sure it stays on the number 3. And you put it together. Take your number 6, tighten it up. All right. So now you're going to put this in. By the way, with the I did the research on this right here, this pivot pin. It's the same part number for the 850s, the 600, and for the 900 Ace on my model. Again, 2024. So I double checked to make sure this was the exact same part number as all the other ones. It is the same. So now at this point, you can remove this because you can draw it in with your T25 bolt. Now this you put Loctite on. This you do not put Loctite on here because you're going to be taking that bolt on and off to adjust your clickers on the trail. Okay, so the next part is we're going to start putting it back together now. You got to be careful, make sure these rollers are aligned. I'll show you that in just a second. There's a number 1 here. If you flip the ramp up, there's a number 1 in here. You don't necessarily have to see it, but trust me, there's a 1 in there. So that make sure you have it timing marks in the right spot. Now this is kind of a balancing act, a little bit tricky here. So first start getting the rollers. Let's see. So this outside roller rides against here. The inside roller rides on the inside. Okay, so all 3 of them. Now the tricky part is the ramps. Oh, just wait. I might have got ahead of myself maybe. Stop it. So the next part is we're going to start putting it back together now. You got to be careful, make sure these rollers are aligned. I'll show you that in just a second. There's a number 1 here. If you flip the ramp up, there's a number 1 in here. You don't necessarily have to see it, but trust me, there's a 1 in there. So that make sure you have it timing marks in the right spot. Now this is kind of a balancing act, a little bit tricky here. So first start getting the rollers. Let's see. So this outside roller rides against here. The inside roller rides on the inside. Okay, so all three of them. Now the kind of tricky part is getting all three of these ramps tucked in up into the slot right here. So the first two will be easy, but it's gonna be kind of tricky. Got one in there. Second one. No, this is gonna be kind of hard here.
I didn't think that
All
one was in
right,
there.
there we go. So now just double check your rollers. They should be right, but just double check your black rollers here. Spinning around, yep, that's separated, that's right, it's right on there, yep. Okay. Okay, so the next thing is to put your spring compressor tool in there, get your spring on there. And your clip. Okay, you keep cranking until you expose where the clip is going to go. Just about there. You can see the groove right there is where that clip plops in. Just got to make sure I got it compressed far enough. All right. So the next thing is make sure you keep your timing marks lined up. You got your number 1, and I have a notch. Line that up. Ooh. Alright, not sure the torque spec on that, but okay, so I got it all back together now. So the next thing I'm going to do is put it on the sled and take it for a test drive. See how many RPMs I can pull with the setting at 3. I still got 2 more adjustments. If I have to move up in RPMs. Also, I just wanted to let you know that the sled is completely stock. There's nothing, you know, the springs are the stock springs. I haven't changed them yet. It's got about 2,000 miles on it, which it's due for the primary and secondary spring to be changed, but that's it. Test drive it and see how many RPMs I get. So after I got everything put together, I went for a little test ride, and I hit about 73 to 7,400 RPMs with the clickers at 3. I'll probably bump it up to 5 and then do some more testing, but I think, you know, 73, 74, you add 400 on top of that, you know, you hit 77, 78, it'll be in the ballpark. But what I should have done was get the, I gotta look here, the 41.91 ramps, 41.91 gram ramps, which are 972 OEM skidoo ramps. I think that would have put me where I wanted to be. I probably would have been able to set my collector at 2 or 3. I'd have had more adjustability. But I mean, the reason why I didn't go that route is because for some reason the 41.91 gram weights are $200 and everything else is $95. I don't know why, but maybe you can find different prices somewhere else. It's just what I end up finding from Goodwin Performance. Anyways, to put the clickers on, it ended up costing me about $208. So that's the quick clicker, the ramp, and the bolt.